got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh!
Everyone is talking about Diddy, saying it's terrible and wondering if it's true. How could it have happened? The simple answer is, in the world of money and power,
I'm talking about this.
hardly anyone has faced proper punishment. Some are still considered respected figures in the music industry, while others are in prison. However, these are exceptions, not the rule. Let's talk about all of them. Welcome to the Top Art Legends. Chris Brown. This pretty boy started his journey in 2009 when he punched, choked, and bit his girlfriend Rihanna in a car.
So she opened the message, and the rest of the message said, I'll see you at the... she's fighting me, and I'm like, look, I'm telling you the truth, I swear to God. I'm telling you the truth, stop it.
Since then, there have been more than 20 accusations of violence, acts of aggression, or criminal offenses. Yet, he continues to be extremely popular, and tickets to his concerts sell out at a crazy speed. His upcoming concert in South Africa has once again drawn attention to the shocking levels of violence against women in that country. A group launched a petition demanding to stop the performance of the American artist, quickly gathering over 20,000 signatures. Chris pleaded guilty to assaulting Rihanna and agreed to community service, 5 years of probation, and domestic violence counseling. But did it help? In 2011, after an interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, when Chris was asked about the incident with Rihanna.
What's going on now is that recently the restraining order against you that Rihanna had.
He threw a chair at a window overlooking Times Square during a commercial break in his dressing room. In 2012, Brown violated a court order to stay away from Rihanna by attending a Halloween party where she was also present. In 2016, a woman claimed that he hit her and took her phone after she pulled it out to take a picture of him during a party at the Palms Casino Resort. That same year, Brown was arrested at his home on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon. Model Bailey Curran stated that Brown and another man became angry when she admired the man's diamond necklace. He was later released from jail on a $250,000 bail. In 2017, Chris was ordered to stay away from his ex-girlfriend, Karrueche Tran.
Because the man I loved hurt me and betrayed me.
The model testified in court that Brown had sent her threatening text messages. "I can get my money back and I'm tired of playing games," along with, "B, I will beat this out of you. And I promise you I will make your life hell." Tran also claimed that Brown had punched her in the stomach twice and pushed her down the stairs a few years ago, but no police report was filed at the time. These incidents occurred while he was on probation for the assault on Rihanna. On February 23, 2017, a woman, Doe, attended a concert at One Oak in West Hollywood, where she was invited to an after-party at a recording studio, where Brown and rapper Young Lo were working. When she arrived, her phone was allegedly taken because Brown didn't want any phones in the studio. She was told she could only retrieve her phone at Chris's house. She claimed that the group used drugs, alcohol, threats, and the presence of weapons to intimidate and coerce female guests who didn't consent into sexual acts. She sued the trio for sexual battery, assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. In April 2020, the lawsuit was dismissed and settled out of court. We are sure that Chris is also on that list where money solves everything. In 2019, Brown was detained in Paris on charges of aggravated rape and drug-related crimes after a woman filed a complaint with the police.
Grammy-winning singer Chris Brown has been detained by police in Paris for questioning in an alleged case of rape.
Brown denied the accusations, and the case was closed, with Brown himself filing a defamation lawsuit against the woman. In the summer of 2021, a woman called the police and reported that Brown had hit her on the back of the head so hard that her wig flew off. However, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office later confirmed that they declined to press charges due to insufficient evidence. So, the question remains, why is Chris Brown still not in prison? especially considering that domestic violence counseling, to put it mildly, doesn't seem to help. Dr. Dre,
I'm ahead of my gang, still puffing my leaves.
although he was honored with an award that will now bear his name, the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award at the 2023 Grammy Awards. There are those who are outraged by Dre's name on this award.
Everybody stand up for the first ever winner of the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, Dr. Dre.
D. Barnes is one of those who are outraged. D. Barnes is a journalist and MC who, at 19, hosted the hip-hop show Pump It Up on Fox, which became an integral part of the real-time archive of the genre's development from 1989 to 1991.
I'm D, you're watching Pump It Up, and let's kick it off with this video by...
Before the series ended, Barnes had interviewed legends such as LL Cool J, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and Queen Latifah. So why did it end? In 2015, Barnes revealed what happened between her and Dr. Dre. On January 27, 1991, Dre attacked her. You may ask why and what prompted Barnes to speak about it in 2015. All the women Dre had ever beaten or mistreated were afraid of him. But 2015 was a turning point. The film Surviving Compton, Dre, Suge, and Michelle Ale, by singer Michelle Ale, Dre's former partner, helped others share that they had similar experiences, but more on that later. The reason was that a segment of her show aired, capturing the tension between Dre's then group NWA and former member Ice Cube. The conflict was primarily because Ice Cube decided to leave the group over payment disputes with Heller, the owner of Ruthless Records, insisting that he should be paid more. As a result, Ice Cube left the group and built a successful solo career. In response to his departure, the remaining members of NWA dissed him on their EP 100 Miles and Runnin'. And he responded with the track No Vaseline. Later, NWA claimed that Dre was furious about the clip Barnes had included in her show, which aired before the album's release. After the assault, the police were called, and early on January 28, 1991, a warrant was issued for Dre's arrest. He was charged with assault and battery. Of course, as Dre usually does, he pleaded not guilty, resulting in a $2,500 fine and 2 years of probation, along with community service. In her article, Barnes wrote that for many years after the incident, she suffered from terrible migraines that throbbed in the same spot where Dre allegedly slammed her head against the wall several times.
They grabbed me by my hair and started slamming me up against the wall. It's a painful and traumatic experience.
Today, while Dre has millions in wealth, Barnes has been struggling to secure housing and basic living necessities since the accusations, as she was blacklisted in the industry. Commenting on the award, Barnes said that most people who know him only for his creative work would say, "Oh, he must deserve that. He must be such a great person for them to put an award in his name." But they named this award after an abuser. It wasn't just a 1 or 2 time thing. These are choices. The first time, it's maybe a mistake. The second time, okay. The third time, it's a choice. I'm not saying he is the same person now, though. I don't know. I'm not around him anymore. I haven't talked to him. But to name an award after someone with that type of history in the music industry, you might as well call it the Ike Turner Award. And of course, Barnes wasn't the first or the last. Take singer Michelle Ale, for instance, who dated Dre and had a child with him. At the time, it was the beginning of Dr. Dre and his studio as a separate entity, fame, money, and alcohol became part of his life. Michael was constantly beaten by Dre while he was drunk, and one of the most brutal incidents left her with a broken nose and ribs. Yes, we can still ask why she didn't press charges against him back then, but she admits that she never pressed charges because we don't get that kind of education in my culture.
And it just was normal. I just took it as a way of him showing me he loved.
So let's return to the film Surviving Compton, Dre, Suge, and Michelle. When Myuu realized she wasn't the only victim, she decided to make a film that would tell the whole truth about their relationship and about Dre. I've been talking about my abuse for many, many years, but it has not gotten any ears until now. Opening up and finding out there were other women like me gave me the power to speak up, said Myuu. Dr. Dre punched his former label mate Terry B, real name Teresa Murphy, in the face twice at a Grammy after-party after she dissed him in one of her tracks. She was under the wing of Eazy-E and signed to his label, Ruthless Records. Murphy also did not file a police report. There's no excuse, but this was a different time, she said. I was told, this is a family business. You're not pressing charges. I was taken care of by Eazy in certain ways to be quiet. I had a lot of guilt, Murphy said after connecting with Barnes. Had I pressed charges, he would have had a strike against him. And maybe Myuu would have stood up too. Maybe it would have made him think. So, in 2015, Dr. Dre apologized to all the women he had ever wronged.
Now, Dr. Dre is apologizing to all the women he's hurt.
25 years ago, I was a young man drinking too much and in over my head with no real structure in my life. However, none of this is an excuse for what I did. Could he be believed here? Number. Because at that time, even his wife, Nicole Young, who stood by his side for so-called support, knew that this was a blatant lie. As we now know, Nicole, after divorcing Dre, had also been a victim of this abuser during their years of marriage. Dr. Dre's employer, Apple, let's remind ourselves that Dre has a headphone brand, also released a statement. Dre has apologized for the mistakes he's made in the past, and he said that he's not the same person that he was 25 years ago. We believe his sincerity, and after working with him for a year and a half, we have every reason to believe that he has changed. Where have we seen a company whose spokesperson is an abuser justify him instead of dropping him and canceling contracts? Well, here's an example. Suge Knight.
Are you the next cast? Take a picture, I'll take his neck.
Widely known as the producer of D.R.E. records, but in essence, he was more of a dangerous criminal and abuser. In 1999, he started dating Myuu after her abusive relationship with Dre. However, Suge couldn't control himself and hit her, breaking her jaw. According to her, it happened only once, and afterward, he promised not to hit her again because she was too small. In 2008, he was arrested on charges of assault and domestic violence. Knight hit his girlfriend in the head during an argument while driving with her in the car. Trying to escape, the woman grabbed the steering wheel, causing the car to hit the curb and come to a sudden stop, after which she fled with Knight chasing her. The police arrived following a call about the violence, finding Knight standing over the woman with a knife in hand. She wasn't injured when they arrived, but as the officer commented, had it not been for that citizen calling, who knows what would have happened. Suge is now in prison, but of course not for rape or abuse. He's serving time for murder. And now, he continuously comments on everything happening with Diddy, his white parties, rapes, assaults, and the fact that it's not just Diddy doing these things.
He was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And we can talk all day and say what's true, what's not true.
But can an abuser comment on the actions of another abuser? Yes, Suge may prefer confrontations with men, but he still assaulted women more than once in his life. And perhaps we don't know everything about him, as many were simply too afraid to speak up. R. Kelly. As everyone knows, in 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being found guilty on 8 counts of sex trafficking and 1 in racketeering and guilty of sexual abuse of children. Well, this guy's behavior started back in the 90s, and he primarily targeted underage girls. Naturally, we begin with the case that gained widespread attention. In 1994, 27-year-old Kelly married Aaliyah, who was 15 at the time, by lying about her age. In a 2001 lawsuit, former Epic Records intern Tracy Sampson sued R. Kelly, accusing him of inducing her to engage in indecent sexual activity when she was 17.
Didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know if this was normal. I didn't know if this is how adults acted. Like, I just didn't know.
In 2002, Patrice Jones sued R. Kelly, claiming that she became pregnant by him while she was underage and was forced to have an abortion. Again, this case was settled with money. In the same year, he was charged with 21 counts of creating videos of sexual abuse of children, including various sexual acts, and filmed these acts. All the charges were related to one girl who was born in September 1984. Kelly, who posted $750,000 bail, immediately denied the allegations and later pleaded not guilty in court. The case, which lasted 6 years, was eventually dismissed, as somehow no one was able to prove that the girl in the video was underage, and Kelly was found not guilty. Within a few years, Kelly was again charged with another 12 counts of creating videos of child sexual abuse in Florida. The charges were brought after police seized a camera during his arrest that allegedly contained images of him having sex with an underage girl. The charges were dropped when the judge agreed with Kelly's defense team that the police did not have sufficient evidence to conduct the search. Just an incredible stroke of luck for him. In 2017, victims who had promised to remain silent began to speak to the press. Kitty Jones claimed that R. Kelly had starved her, forced her into sexual encounters with other women, and physically abused her.
I didn't want anybody to tell me anything negative about him. Although I had witnessed things and things were even happening to me, I wasn't going to let someone take that away from me. I felt invested.
In February 2019, R. Kelly's lawyer received a video of Kelly having sex with a 14-year-old girl. A few weeks later in Chicago, Kelly was charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault. He did not plead guilty. Later, the prosecution added 11 more charges of sexual assault and aggravated criminal sexual conduct involving minors aged 13 to 16. He was accused of making advances toward a teenager who had asked him for an autograph in 2001. Kelly allegedly invited a 17-year-old girl to his hotel room and offered her $200 to strip and dance for him. So, what happened in the end to all these stories? We know R. Kelly is in prison. But as one of our followers commented, he simply ran out of money, which is why he was finally put away. He is absolutely right. Jay-Z.
Doing what we like to do.
Let's recall the story of signing Rihanna. Among her memories of the first meeting with Jay-Z and signing the contract, she mostly remembers 2 phrases from him.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists.
And the other being,
There are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed, or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
It's strange why this is only being talked about now, as it was quite obvious that Rihanna went through a lot of stress. But no one wanted to listen to her, brushing it off as humor. It's so funny to lock a 16-year-old girl in an office on the 29th floor and only let her out after 12 hours at 3 a.m. Normally, this is how teenagers are treated everywhere, right? This is sarcasm. Because it's clear that this is a crime. It's not surprising that he is a close friend of Diddy, as both of these guys share the same style of communicating over people, intimidation, humiliation, etc., whom they have power over. Diddy,
It's blank expression.
while he fights federal human trafficking charges, his legal problems are only growing. Nearly a dozen new lawsuits have been filed over his horrific behavior toward women.
Now to Sean Diddy Combs. The music mogul is facing a series of new civil lawsuits, including allegations he sexually assaulted.
We're sure you're well aware of this, as Diddy is a hot topic right now. So, in conclusion, we can say that maybe Diddy will indeed become the beginning, shedding light on the truth about others like Jay-Z, and they will finally face punishment for their crimes. Money has great power, but as we see with Diddy, everyone's time can come when they have to pay the price. And what's even more shameful is that all these guys were once just poor guys from the streets, And now they torment others who are just like they once were. It's madness. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell. You can also write a comment in the comment section down below. See you later on the Top Art Legends.